Hello, welcome to the Artist Talk at Art of Noise. I'm your host, Kiana, and we're here with our April resident, Mercedes Sharps.
Hello, everyone.
We're so excited to have you.
Excited to be here.
Mercedes, tell me about what inspired you. Your work is stunning. It's very in your face.
Thank you. So, I guess what inspired me would have to start back from honestly elementary school.
Wow.
Elementary school and education.
Okay.
Growing up in DC, when I was growing up, the years I was growing up, I won't denote the years that I grew up. But I will say that art um, like in the community was a lot more prevalent. Like it was a lot more, I guess, readily available for the youth, inner city youth in DC. And I guess I was just going along being myself. I was always like into creative things, into a lot of crafting, into a lot of different things, just like tangible things. I was never into dolls or too much of the girly things. Just a lot more of like tactful things, things that I could, touch and manipulate. But I will say that my kindergarten teacher, Miss Curry, at Brooklyn Elementary School,
Oh, wow.
she brought it out of me. There was, other students in the class, but she would be like, I know you can do this. You can do this better than such and such. And I was like, wow, okay, I guess I can do it. And she propelled like my creative side. And I just, from then on, like that, I guess, vote of encouragement or whatever really made me feel like, okay, I guess I'm doing something right. And from that early of an age to feel like what you're doing, like naturally as yourself, is what you should be doing, that's what inspired me
Wow. So that's
first.
like, you said third grade?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Miss
So
Curry,
that's what, five,
kindergarten.
six?
Miss Curry, if you're still alive, you're still living, I love you. Thank you. She was actually really a strict teacher, and a lot of children were afraid of her. But she kind of really instilled in me that creativity and art was like something that she saw in me, and I didn't know that it was a thing because I was so young, but
Right.
it propelled me to greatness, and from then on, I guess in every sect of school, from grade school all the way to my collegiate years. Um, my professors and teachers always saw something in me that I probably didn't see in myself, not because I didn't want to, but just because I was just like in my la lane. They always saw it in me, and I did it. And that was one of the most inspiring moments. I guess that was the first moment of inspiration that I now realize as an adult. But there have been many more, I guess, inspirational moments um, throughout each stage of my life. I will say that being a dancer, because I did modern dance early in ballet, and so just the shapes that I saw myself and my peers do, and people like the Grams and the Ailey's and all those different things, like that movement, and just I fell in love with the shapes of what a woman's body could do before I experienced myself like motherhood. So that also was a great inspiration for me.
That's awesome.
I had a series in college, which was my thesis, that was called Mother and Child. And that was a subconscious inspiration for me because everything that I portrayed in my pieces, in chronological order, all happened in real life in that same order after I did the series,
So
which was
does that
crazy.
tie into the pieces that you have now that we have currently in the gallery?
It's always going to be a thread in all the work that I do. Um, that really is my purpose. It just comes naturally for me. So in my creative process, when I'm creating these works of art, I don't sketch anything on the canvas.
Oh wow. So it's all freehand.
It's all freehand.
And what got you into using like jewelry and beads and shells and different textures? Because a lot of people can do, just painting, but yours is very like tangible in a different way. It makes you want to touch it, whether you should or not. But it makes
Yeah.
you want to actually reach out and feel it. And it also is very familiar to a lot of people who would wear bamboo hoop earrings or waist beads.
Yeah.
What drew you into that?
It's a collection, and I would call it good baggage. It's a collection of all the things that I have collected creatively and what I'm drawn to in my life. Um, I have to have things to touch. I need sensory items. Um, I did like a lot of mixed media stuff, like heavily mixed media.
Okay.
I was talking about the other day when I had just a piece of just broken glass, all broken glass, and I just love texture. It was a broken glass painting essentially,
Oh wow.
and I just moved into painting on canvas. Um, More than painting on wood. It's the texture for me. It's the sensory motion for me because once I'm doing these paintings or once I'm doing any art piece, I really kind of shut off from the outside world. And if I'm being honest, I just allow God to move through my extremities.
That's the
That's
way
it.
to put it.
That's it.
Divinely
Like I
inspired.
could honestly probably close my eyes and just say, God, take the wheel.
Take over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that you're an amazing makeup artist and
Thank you.
you are used to painting on faces as well. So, how do you translate using your clients and different people? How does that inspire you to make some of these pieces that you've made? Because every one of them looks like someone I could have met, someone I've known.
Hence the name familiar.
Ah,
Hence the name familiar. So being a makeup artist has allowed me to play around with different face shapes, and everyone has a different face shape, a different contour. But being women, there's a core similarity that brings them all together. And I think that that's the baseline throughout these pieces. But nonetheless, just different face shapes and different I don't know, the coloration is different. Playing around with what colors to me represent different ethnicities and different backgrounds. Um, and also, we have to talk about the hair too because as women of color, not just black women, but women of color in total, our expression widely comes from what we do with our hair, how we feel about our hair, how our hair makes us feel,
very much so.
and then just adding the different backgrounds. So of course, different colors touch different chords in different people, and so that kind of propels the individual to really put themselves in the piece and or put someone else that they know in the piece and see that person that they envision in the piece. But nonetheless, I think that the energy and people don't realize a lot of the times that we have a lot of energy in our hair. So you'll see a lot of people who have locks that say, "Okay, I've cut my locks off, and so now I lost a lot of different energy, or I'm getting different energy back into my mind or my space." Um, I just think that wrapping it all up into the hair and just the color, it really puts people in a good space. Whether or not I'll say generally a good space, but it's okay to be controversial. It's okay to be indifferent. It's okay to be in a different type of mood, a somber mood, a happy mood. Um, but if you wake up and you have a bad hair day, you're like, nah, not today, not today. But these women, their hair is a part of who they are. Excuse me. But like NDRE said, I am not my hair situation.
Right.
But we are our hair, and that's real, and that's really real.
So then, do you also tie yourself into each piece? Because you are a chameleon. You like to change your hair up
I do.
often.
I change
Like
my
to
hair
change your
like
look
every
up
every 2 days.
often.
um, I would be remiss if I didn't say that a piece of me was in each and every single piece that I create. Um, Either it's something that I've done to my hair or something that I aspire to do to my hair. Um, but yeah, yeah, I infuse. There's a small infusion of who I am, and it's also because like the piece where I say I don't sketch, that's kind of like that's a teetering space. It's like, okay, so you don't sketch, so how you put it on there? It's like, how does it get like that? And it's like, it's a divine something,
It's a process.
something that happens to me that it just really just flows, and it scares me sometimes. So there was a point in my life where I think there was like maybe a 7 to 10 year pause where I didn't pick up a paintbrush at all,
Oh wow.
because everything that I put on any surface, any plane, it came true.
I see what you're saying.
I was scared. I was
So
scared of
you're
my
saying
own.
that your whatever you painted would like a premonition, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And then like I later found out that that is a constant thing in my family, actually, with the Blackfoot Cherokee part of my family, which is a huge aspect because, we have super close roots to that, in North Carolina, where my grandmother's side of the family is from. A lot of them have those premonitions and they have those visions, and those things actually come true, and it's without doubt. And it just so happened that, and that's why I say like when I'm not sketching anything, and it just happens on just me just moving my hands and moving my arms, like this is a physical embodiment of those visional premonitions that they had.
So out of all these pieces that we currently have, what would you say would be your most favorite, your best piece? And then what's the story that is wrapped up around it?
I think I have two favorites, and only because it's the beginning and the end. All of them are my favorite. All of them are my favorite. The beginning and the end are my favorites because of the story behind it. So Umi's origin, which is the first piece, that's I guess my first favorite, because for me the storyline is coming from a celestial space. It's coming from the embodiment of all women, and not just women, but all beings. It comes from thinking like, you know everyone starts from a celestial space, and they are culminated from the, I guess, the dark matter, but in real life dark matter is the melanin, and then it all just comes together. She's the embodiment of what we all were before we were here, for me, and then what we all go back to also. So that's why she's my first favorite. The last one is my second favorite because, coming down from the dissension from space down to life, down to different generations and different aspects of life, I think that the bottom line in my storyline, I will say, in my line of work, and what I focused on throughout my, um, I guess, more mature art exploration, um, it's called, it's Mama What's for Dinner.
Mama, what's for dinner?
Mama Was for Dinner.
Okay.
It's a black woman. She has her head wrap on. Her hair is up. Her hair is curly. It's untamed. But she said, look, I'm going to tame this hair. Because at the end of the day, once you go down through all of the different things that a woman has to do, and everything that she's done throughout the day, like say she's, a full-time 9 to 5 mom working, she's done everything that she has to do. At the end of the day, she still has to have a full-time job. She has to come home, make sure that she tightens herself up real quick. And you know what the question, if she has children, the question is, Mama, what's for dinner?
You're absolutely
And that's
right
a
about
whole
that.
nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. because you're passing down so much knowledge, so much energy. And then as women, we tend to kind of be all over the place. But I will say that as mothers, when you take on that motherly role, you have to choose what energy you pass down to, the next generation or your seed or whatever, just to, I guess, instill in them this strength and this power and ignite this fire in them, and that's even having gone through all of the trials that you've gone through. We kind of have to mask it. We kind of have to mask everything that we've gone through and make it better for the next person, because that's what we do.
So you would say that your work is an offering to feminism, and not only just
Exactly.
feminism, but Black women feminism.
Black women, women of color, all women of color, women in general, but my personal connection and the strongest connection that I have would be my own, which is women of color, and of course Black women. But I think it's just the whole kind of gambit, really. That's it.
That's amazing.
I just love, and so when you look into the different pieces, of course, people when they first look at it, they'll see different things, but some of these pieces have really deep connections to me. Um, like I will say that when I was painting, and sometimes when I'm painting something, I might, and I'm not an emotional person, but I might start to cry because I'm painting the embodiment of someone who is here or someone who is no longer here, someone who has inspired me in my life, um, helped me become the woman I am today. And it just gets really emotional for me. So, one piece that I can point out really quickly is Debbie C.
Okay.
Debbie C. Is she is a woman who was super integral in my life. I think I saw The Wiz for the first time when I was at her house, and I loved it. But
Everyone loves The Wiz.
I love the presentation of it. It wasn't like, "Come on, y'all, sit down and watch this." It was like, "This is history. You need to watch this because it's going to make your life better." And I first of all thank my parents for allowing me to be open minded enough to say, okay, when someone's talking to me in this way, then I have to, really listen and understand the resonance that will come. But she was very earthy, very nurturing. She's a mother of 4 children. And the painting that I did to depict her actually looks like a picture that she took probably, I guess, 4 months before she passed.
And when was that?
Gosh, I was at my retail job, and that may have been in 2000 and maybe 18.
Okay, so super recent.
Super
So
recent.
fresh on the mind, and
Fresh on the
definitely
mind.
a
But
strong
fresh on the mind
inspiration.
always, though.
Right.
Um, because that's just who she is, and she was a beautiful spirit, beautiful person, and I had to put her spirit is always within me. It's always around. I had to infuse her in here somewhere. Um, just a beautiful. She was an artist also. She was a fine artist and a digital artist. She was based out of North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, and her sons were African drummers,
Oh wow.
which was beautiful. And not that it's here or there, but at her funeral, uh, they had African drummers to send her off into the universe, send her.
To glory.
And it was beautiful. And even when I was doing like the backstory behind her, like I shed another tear. It was like, gosh, I am not this emotional. Like I'm not this physically emotional when it comes to like things coming out of me, like tears. Yeah.
Sometimes when you're doing work, that will
Yeah.
be pulled out.
Yeah.
So basically, to sum it up, like everything you do, every piece of who you are is brought to us, inspired by different people in your life, be it from the woman that you just described. I would say also your children, your child, your mother, father, family members, and you inject all of that into your artwork.
Yeah, the woman is the woman, but there's also the womb man, which definitely, you know, I am not excluding men from my experience. Definitely not, and I think that the manliest of men can appreciate the depiction of a strong
Of
woman,
course.
because that's where they came from.
Also that.
Yeah, and that's who they should uplift and uphold. You know, I mean, we wouldn't be a society without them. So I just want to tell all the men right here. You heard it from me. This is not excluding you. This is incorporating you, because these are your wives, these are your moms, these are your aunts, sisters, cousins. You know, and these are the people who inspire you, and you inspire them. But right now, we're just gonna take time out to depict them.
We're focusing on the ladies.
Yeah, we're gonna focus on them, but we're gonna focus on y'all too. In a little minute, you just stay tuned.
Okay. Thank you.
Stay tuned.
So before we wrap it up, is there anything else you want to add?
First of all, I just want to add that you've been a wonderful hostess.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you, Kiana.
Thank you.
You're just one of the you're an inspiration to me, really honestly. Um, you are an inspiration. I think your attitude and just your demeanor really sets the tone for a lot of women to like step up their game first and foremost.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
And then second of all, I do want to just really quickly shout out my um, just neighborhood communities, North Michigan Park. Thank you for raising me. Turkey Thicket Summers. Thank you to um, Greenbelt, Maryland, Eleanor Roosevelt High School. Very formative years for me. I took a lot of actually AP art classes, which not a lot of people were taking. So when I got to college, I was already like out there, which was awesome. Um, and just thank you to the DMV area for being so innovative in those 90s, you know, in terms of art, because it really did produce a lot of great artists that you see now in the DMV area. And I also want to just thank you to all women who are doing their thing, you know, striving, thriving, those who are down and out, who have nowhere to go but up. Up is on the way. Um, Thank you just for being yourselves, and everyone. I really just appreciate the love and the attention that you're paying to this cause and my work and just life in general. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Art of Noise. Art of Noise is a great catalyst for up and coming artists in DC and established artists. And Art of Noise is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And I would definitely continue to look out for the greatness that comes from this place, online and in physical presence. You can reach me at Mercedes_1122art on Instagram. You all can also find me on Etsy right now with the same business name, which is 1122 Art by M Sharps. And that's also an LLC. And you can find more personal contact information on those avenues. So I hope to hear from you, and I hope to get your feedback, and I appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm here for you because you're here for me.
So you said this is one of your most meaningful pieces. Can you break down exactly what it is that moved you, inspired you, brought you to create this piece, and why is it so meaningful to you?
So again, this is Debbie C. This is one of the pieces that I was talking about earlier. This is my mom's best friend from her college years, who became my really just beautiful aunt. And this is kind of, it's an abstraction of a picture that she took when she was standing and kind of looking into the distance, and the sun was beaming behind her. Um, and her fro was just beautiful and just bustling hair, which was amazing to see, and her just live in that truth of just her hair being natural and free flowing and in the form that it's meant to be. But I chose the different hues of red and just those warm colors because that's her spirit. This warm spirited, very vibrant, very electrifying. And then the pose, her kind of being off to the side, is just to depict the stillness that she had as a mom, just able to be calm in the midst of any type of chaos and look it in the face and just conquer it. Um, and that's really why this is one of the most, I guess, meaningful pieces to me. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, and she's just dope. She's just a dope person. And she's probably here now. Like, I can't believe that you're doing this, Mercedes. She's just beautiful.
And what other pieces did you want to point out that inspired you?
There's not one. There's not one. I would say that I encourage everyone who's looking at this and viewing this to see for yourself, really, and just I think that each piece has a tendency or an ability to connect with whoever's viewing it. I really think that each piece has a certain connectivity to the viewer at some point in time and space.
Thank you, Mercedes, for that wonderful talk. And thank you for watching another Artist Talk with Art of Noise. I'm your host, Kiana. See you next time.